innovation is not an idea, and the very important thing for you to know is that ideas are worthless. There are millions of ideas out there. In our minds, on a daily basis, we get hundreds of ideas of different things. Are they worth anything? Not if they stick in our, if they stay in our mind. Not if they're not implemented. Not if they're not worth anything if they don't add enough value. So a lot of entrepreneurs start off by saying, I don't want to tell you my idea because I'm worried you might steal it from me or someone will take it. Well, the idea itself is not really what makes an entrepreneur successful. And you could see some of the most successful businesses out there aren't successful because they necessarily had this brilliant idea. It was because they're successful because they executed the idea that they had to perfection. And if you look at something like Facebook, which is a phenomenon, a great success, they were not the first social network to be out there, and not the last as well. But they were good in being at the right time, at the right place, and executing really well in their strategy. The same with Google. Google was not the first search engine. There were many other search engines before Google. But again, through the right implementation of the idea, they were able to be successful. So ideas are not the key. It's how you implement those ideas. And an innovation is not an idea. It's also not an invention. Innovation is not an invention. You can create and invent a lot of crazy stuff like this butter glue stick or a mobile tissue machine for when you have a runny nose, or something that could hold your head and not as you're moving around, so when you're sleeping. So these are interesting inventions, but it doesn't mean that anyone's going to be willing to pay money for them. And that's where you face an issue with invention not being innovation. So invention is usually the conversion of cash into ideas. So you take research and development, which is very important for a society. It's done a lot in universities in terms of exploration. But it's basically taking some money and trying to come up with as many ideas as possible, and some of them could be crazy ideas. But innovation is the conversion of ideas into cash, the ability to transform an idea and get someone to pay you money for it, so that, because it adds so much value to them. So innovation is coming up with a substantial improvement to an existing setup that people would be willing to pay for. And here you can see a great innovation coming from Square, which is for accepting mobile payments for any business. So all they do is they plug in this dongle into an iPad or an iPhone, and based upon that, they're able to accept, credit card payments. This was created by the founder of Twitter, one of the founders, Jack Dorsey. So it's a great example of innovation, and this is going to have a profound effect on mobile payments and how payments are done. So where can you innovate? Is it only with products? Can you only innovate by coming up with some really cool products, or are there other areas where you can innovate? You can see that it's quite common to see a lot of innovations on the product level. So new laptops coming out, new mobile phones, new devices, etc. Examples of something like Starbucks, where you could see innovation happening at the service level, overall, and also at the experience level. These are two elements have been implemented in Starbucks, and the innovation there that has created this crazy wave of coffee chains all over the world, and coffee chains becoming so popular. Facebook, on the other hand, has innovated a business model where they provide their products and services for free. They make money from advertisements, and there are others that, of course, follow the same kind of business model. And Salesforce follows an innovation on the pricing model. So instead of buying software and you pay for it upfront, Salesforce and other companies like that provide something called software as a service, where people pay for the software on a monthly recurring basis. So that's another innovation on the pricing model. So the process of innovation happens by looking at user need. So what is there, there a need in the market? Where is there a gap in the market? Then you also look at the technical capabilities of what is available around you. What can you do to solve that kind of user need? And that's where your idea comes up. The idea, like we said, by itself doesn't really mean much. What's important is that you then put around it a business case. So identify how can this idea be worth something to someone and how much would they be willing to pay for it. And then based upon that, you're able to come to your innovation.